What's up, YouTube? It's Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review Predestination. I binged on Predestination about a week or so ago, and it fits in the whole theme of Joaquin Phoenix, and there's a link there, and I'll explain it later. Anyway, Predestination stars Ethan Hawke in a time travel movie, and time travel movies are one of my favorites, one of my favorite genres to get into, because it kind of stretches your idea of what you understand is possible and how you see events happening in life, in the world, and in a non-linear fashion, and it actually strains your thinking a little bit. So in this movie, time travel is done by the use of a device that's in somewhat a violin case. But time travel is, I would say, almost one of the characters in this movie. Okay, so you have Ethan Hawke, and he is a time agent, and his job is to go back in time and correct certain events to ensure that the future timeline stays intact. And his biggest case, the last one that he's on, is this fizzle bomber. All right, and that's a guy who can actually jump through time himself and go back and kill thousands of people or whatever. So Ethan Hawke's job is to go back and stop this guy. And in the course of doing that, he runs upon this person, another asset that he must talk to in relation to the fizzle bomber. And in talking to this person, he finds out a lot more about who this person is and what they mean to this whole situation. Now, I will say this. The first part of this movie, where Ethan Hawke is in the bar talking to this character, it's not a lot of action happening. It's strictly dialogue. Okay, it's a dialogue. I wouldn't say heavy, but dialogue will tell you the rest of the story. If you're not paying attention to the story in the dialogue, if you're looking for an explosion or somebody to get beat up or something like that right in the middle of it to keep you interested, don't fucking watch the movie. You're gonna be irritated. You're gonna be pissed off at me that I told you to watch some shit that you're not interested in, right? But if you get into dialogue and understanding conversation and how people reveal themselves through conversation, this will be more in your liking, and you will understand who this character is as it goes along, right? So you have Ethan Hawke. You have forgetting her name. I think it's Samantha Snoke or something like that. Not sure. Anyway, Ethan Hawke's character gets into this whole deal with the fizzle bomber, and then you finally find out through the course of these events and doing this time travel and going back through this character's past who the fizzle bomber is, who Ethan Hawke is. And this is one of the most fascinating ways to tell a time travel story I've ever seen. And it gives you a sense of depth of the character and the actual ordeal of the character. Anybody that knows anything about time travel and paradoxes and infinite loops, certain things will happen and always happen that way because they have to happen that way. And by saying that, that's probably a little bit too much information, but check out the movie. It may surprise you. It's kind of hard to find because I saw it years ago, and I still have to go back and find it in different places because it wasn't widely published. Ethan Hawke does this a lot. He does a lot of really, I wouldn't say low tier, but movies that don't grab the audience right away. You know, like Gattaca, which is one of my favorites, which is like, it'll be here in another 5 years or so. Daybreakers, about vampires and a different take on vampires. He does a lot of really interesting movies in that vein. Obviously, you know him from Training Day, but that's not exactly in the same vein. But he does do a lot of movies in that same vein that people may not get right off the bat. But over time, you actually understand what's happening and actually get it. So the link to Joaquin Phoenix in this comes in the second movie that I binged after I watched Predestination was Explorers. Okay, Explorers is one of these movies from the 80s that I love. And it's about a couple of kids who are having these dreams about space and all the rest of this, and Ethan Hawke is the lead character in this, and they end up making a damn spaceship and going off into space and finding out that these aliens have been communicating with them through their dreams and giving them the technical knowledge to build this ship and go off into space. Now, Ethan Hawke is the one who initially has the dreams, but he enlists the help of his friend, who is named Wolfgang, who was actually really smart science-wise with computers and whatnot. And Wolfgang is played by Joaquin Phoenix's older brother, River Phoenix. And this is how I actually get to Joaquin Phoenix, because I was a fan of River Phoenix when I was younger. He was in a lot of movies that I liked or whatever, and he died tragically, just like Heath Ledger, right? And just as troubled, young actor with a lot of potential and just as troubled. But here in this movie, it got me back to thinking about Joaquin Phoenix and his whole transformation into the Joker, because to me that's a link. It's a link. But it's a good fun movie. If you have kids, watch it with them. It's a good expanding your imagination movie for kids to see that things can be done with them and they don't have to wait until they're old and 30 years old or 20 years old to actually have a life. They can start having a life as soon as they start thinking about it in that context that it's theirs, and they can actually take some ownership of it. But that's it. About to get off of here. This has just been a little impromptu. I've been trying to do this video for a while, but I had a couple other ones to finish. So now it's done. Now I can just cut it and get it all over with. So like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.